Will Smith started out as everyone's favorite TV star in the 1990s on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then by the 2000s he was one of the biggest Hollywood stars ever. But in the 2010s his career took a massive downfall, and now in this decade he's what I consider Hollywood's favorite punching bag. So what career suffered last decade, and how they became Hollywood's punching bag? This is the downfall of Will Smith, Hollywood's punching bag. Will Smith originally rose to fame back in 1985 with his friend DJ Jazzy Jeff and made music under the name DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Will met Jeff at a house party that was nearby Will's house, and they decided to collaborate. Will wanted to invite a friend to join as a trio. His name was Clarence Holmes, who was known as Ready Roxy. A Philadelphia record label, Word Records, released their first ever single, and eventually they got noticed by Jive Records and Russell Simmons, and recorded their first album, Rock the House. In 1988 and 1989, respectively, they released two albums, He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper, and In This Corner. He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper was a critical and commercial success, and Will started to use his money in a different way, was quickly caught up with him the next year when In the Corner dropped. It was a commercial failure, and Will found himself in a hole and was getting many items repossessed and seeing his income get smaller due to the IRS assessing Will with a 2.8 million tax debt. Luckily, the next year, Will got signed to do a sitcom with NBC, which turned out to be The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and we can say from there on then is that the rest is history. Before we get into his downfall, we got to talk about his quick rise to movie famous. You know what I'm saying? All right. So in the late 1990s and the majority of the 2000s, Will Smith enjoyed a very successful run in his film career. From the late 90s hits like Bad Boys, Independence Day, and Men in Black, to mid to late 2000 blockbusters like I, Robot, Hitch, The Pursuit of Happiness, I Am Legend, and Hancock. After the release of 7 Pounds in 2008, Smith took a 3-year hiatus from acting. But he made his grand return to the big screen in 2012 with Men in Black 3. Release, Smith's run as the leading man in a blockbuster came to an end with a critical and/or commercial failures like After Earth, Beauty, and this trend continued with Gemini Man and Rise in the Skies in 2019. Films like Focus and Bright were successful in different ways compared to Suicide Squad and Aladdin. Now, it is unclear to why his downfall happened, but many say because of the roles he selected or him completely changing a story like he almost did with Jingle and Change. He continued down the path of downfall in the 2020s, but for a few months in 2020 prior to COVID, he was enjoying promoting Bad Boys for Life and beginning to film King Richard. Now, here's the real downfall. During the summer, something happened, and it left a huge stain on his and his wife's career. Her entanglement with her son's friend, August Alsina, which shook the internet for days, weeks, months, and now you could say years. Kinda. By this time, Will Smith became a joke. This man built himself, was seeing his castle being blown away from the wind. Now, fast forward to 2 years later. Alright, 2022. The slap happened, which permanently dented his career. The entanglement only stained, but the slap dented. It split many, including myself, who enjoyed both entertainers, but didn't know who was in the right. And to solve that one, no one was ethically right. Will has something going on, and I'll talk about that at the end, After the slap, Chris received even more commercial success for his comedy tour, and Will began losing roles or the future of those projects becoming uncertain. In the summer, Will made a YouTube apology video. Yes, yes, yes. Will Smith joined the path of YouTuber apologies. Shameful that is. Right? I believe that this is so he can promote, emancipation. We got to talk about that too at the end, but it can be said toward the end, like I said earlier. And since that apology video and the release of emancipation, Will Smith hasn't been all that active, in person. He's been more active, on social media, posting memes, stuff like that. But recently he was making Bad Boys 4, but the SAG after strike halted production. And basically with that, that's all we have on, the downfall of Will Smith. So from here on out, right here now, we got the thoughts, my take on what's going on with Will Smith and everything, and his downfall. Now, here's what I say. Okay, look. So I noticed that when celebrity gets way too big, they think they can do whatever. Prime examples like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and any celebrity accused of similar crimes. Oh, I can pop this in the no, you can't do none of that. You're gonna get caught eventually. Like Dark Man says, what happens in the dark always comes to light. When I was little, Will Smith became my favorite actor, and I could say that after seeing his newer films, it's kind of disappointing. He was Hollywood's good guy for many years, but all that changed with one slap. And let me tell you, look, all right. So I'm sure you think that was like, all right. So I'm sure you the stuff that was going to take. All right, I'm gonna tell you the stuff that was saving for last. Okay, so about the slap and his anger. So he definitely have built up anger. I built up anger from something in my school once for like 3 months, and one day it just exploded in the class. It looked like Will definitely had a similar reaction, and it's not because me and him are Libras. You know what I'm saying? It's because like he was definitely built up anger. And it was definitely in the cage for like 2 years at that point. Now the other thing, the apology. Okay, that apology was meant for YouTube and social media, but it was better than Colleen Ballinger's apology. You know, the deep breath at the start, the posture he was in, the feeling comfortable was a joke. It could have been more believable. If it like released like after the slap. You know what I'm saying? Like a week or two after it. But no, it dropped toward the end of the summer, and then about a month later, the trailer for his next film dropped. It was not genuine at all. All right, it was to save face, to save some face, and to clear his name before the film was released, and that did not work. But I do believe that he had like a little bit of remorse, like 5% remorse. Like, oh, I shouldn't have did all that, something like that. But it was done to clear his name. But I guarantee you that he's still mad at Chris for that moment. But he's still like I'm saying, like I've been there before, like an incident you have, a little bit of remorse, but you don't have enough to really be out there like, oh, I'm so sorry. No, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. But yeah, like I said in the previous video, it's sad to see something or someone you grew up with go into a downfall. And Will Smith had dug a hole that he could no longer get himself out of. And I said everybody's thoughts have changed on him, and no one can see the old Will they once fell in love with or enjoyed because of his recent actions. But remember, classic Will is always there, it's always in the current Will Smith, but you won't see him like on your screen. You can always look back at his old films and old TV show, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, and remember all the great moments you had with this Will, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, back when Will Smith was the best man on earth, back when he was the funniest man on earth, back when he was the coolest celebrity on earth, stuff like that. But yeah, and that was the, downfall of Will Smith, Hollywood's punching bag. And if you guys did enjoy that episode, please remember to give the video a big like and subscribe to the Zay Zay Zone if you haven't already. Check out our social medias at Zay Zay Zone. And other than that, I'll see you again in the next episode of the Zay Zay Zone. Peace, y'all.